Very good evening, friends. A warm welcome on this Thursday evening. Thank you for being here with us on this wonderful episode today on Mirror Wisdom Reflected. And this is truly a case here that I'll be acting as a mirror to see how much wisdom can we reflect from none other than Shivani Didi, the most eloquent speaker that one can think about, absolutely lucid and clear with her thoughts. She has been able to express herself so beautifully and been able to give solace, peace, harmony, and education to multiple number of individuals, just not locally, nationally, but internationally. And that beautiful smile, which she's always everlasting smile, which keeps coming every time you see her. You can see that little smiling face. And for the past decade, you've never seen her aging. To find out how she manages to do that, how her clarity of mind comes up, what is the thought process behind it, the purpose of existence, why did she get into Brahma Kumaris? It'll be a great pleasure to have none other than Shivani Didi. Om Shanti Divani Didi, welcome to the show, and we are honored to have you here. And thank you for being here with us this evening.
Om Shanti, and thank you so much, and good evening. Namaskar.
Ma'am, you are a highly technically trained software engineer, and you chose Brahma Kumari. How did you manage to get into that? What took you into that pathway? That will help a lot of people to understand what exactly is in their life besides the professional life. Please.
Uh, there's one myth, or it used to be. I'm not. I don't think it's there now anymore. But earlier, I'm talking about when I was at that age in college. It was as if spirituality was a different part of life from our day-to-day living. Like what we call materialistic life that time. So we say this is materialistic life and this is spiritual life. So it meant materialistic life meant being with family and your career and your education, and spiritual life means okay, that's that life. And so many times people would ask that what happened because of which you shifted there? What happened because of which you left this and you went there? And they're generally thinking that something has to happen in life for a person to shift. So, first and foremost, we need to understand that we're not shifting anywhere. So, it's not two paths. It's not either whether you're on this path or you're on that path. You are on the path of your life. That's it. You're on the path of your life with family, with your work, with every aspect of your roles and responsibilities. Spirituality is a method or a tool or a power which helps you on that path of life to walk the best way that you can. So it's not a separate path. So that's very, very important. And therefore, this myth that you cannot do this and this, that's over. And a myth that this is needed at a certain age in life, that is also over. The younger we start walking the path the right way, which means thinking right, feeling right, speaking right, behaving right in every scene of life, in every scene of life, like what we saw in these last 6 months. Yes, COVID was a situation which we were not prepared for, yet we didn't have a lot of answers to begin with. Yes, there were issues on a physical health level. But what we've seen in the last 6 months is a lot of emotional turmoil, increase in mental health issues, even relationship conflicts. Now, all this could have been easily avoided, completely avoided, had we been using that spiritual power in our day to day living. So, spiritual power gives emotional health, and emotional health will take care of mental health, physical health, professional health, relationships, and environment. So, it is the way to walk our life. And I got introduced to it when I had, I think almost, no, when I was in my engineering college. And so my parents started going to the center, and you know how it is, the things start happening in the house. And my mother would want me to go to the center, but I was not interested, simply because I didn't feel the need for it. I didn't feel the need. I mean, student life was not like what it is today. So it was perfect life. We were happy academically. I was doing very well. So there was no issue in my life. Like, you know, how we have issues, there were no issues, there were no problems. So why spirituality? And so I kept avoiding it the more she wanted me to go towards it. And because the more somebody pushes you into something, the more you don't want to do it, is something that I was doing. And but then I saw a change in them, a change in the sense of becoming emotionally stronger, stable, even if there's a crisis. So I knew they had got something. And then by the time I finished my engineering and I started my work, I started going to the center, just just to go there to feel good, not to do anything else. So I've taken a very long time. There's never been a okay, now I'm here. No, it's been very, 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 very slow, one day at a time, very, very slow. Some people are able to do it instantly, which is very fortunate, but I was not. I did it very slow.
No, yeah, that's exactly. It's not a switch on, switch off phenomena. It's
Yeah.
a long journey to the whole spiritual pathway. And I appreciate what you said because then it's going to stay there. Anything on a single day can be switched off again. But
Yeah,
what
no,
you
I
said
took
is
very long. I took very long. It took me long to understand. A lot of things would conflict with science, and then the logical mind would say, "Aisa nahi, waisa." So, breaking the barriers of your own old ways of thinking, your belief systems, and most important, taking time to experience it. So experience was going to be the proof, because logically you cannot find proof for a lot of spiritual principles. It's not logic. It's not, you believe it's not scientific. Gradually you understand it's very scientific, but that time you believe it's not scientific. So your experience is your own proof. So that experience took a little time. So with experience, then came the conviction. So I didn't get convinced without experience. So that was the reason.
and that's exactly who, besides parents, who was one single person who influenced you to understand that this is the pathway to go and spirituality by being, what bothers us is that times people renunciate from this world. Now, that not necessarily is the best pathway. Staying in this world and being spiritual and living through your day to day life, because the audience here is not the renunciated world.
Yeah.
They are day to day, they are living their life, they are making their livelihood, they are with their family. So, what is it that, how would you say that one can adapt spirituality in your day to day life so that you can go ahead, you can be peaceful, you can still work and look after people?
Uh, it's like we do our day to day living, but we eat three times a day, right? So we don't say eating and life is different. Eating is needed to live that life. Similarly, we exercise in whatever manner, even if it's a simple walk. If we don't move at all, then we're not going to be very healthy. And if we're not healthy, then we will not be able to do what we want to do. So taking care of our physical health is not a separate part of our life. And we don't renunciate our life so that, oh, now I'll only take care of my physical health. We don't do like that, that I'll stop working and I'll only take care of my body. We don't do that. But similarly, in order to do everything that I have to do in my life, I need to take care of my mind. So taking care of the mind is spirituality. Now, you cannot or you need not renunciate your life to take care of your mind. You need to take care of your mind while doing everything that you are doing. If I leave everything, then I actually don't need spirituality. I think if I'm just sitting alone and I have nothing to do in my life, then I might not need spiritual power. That's a different thing altogether. But for us, it's not that. For all of us, so we can be doctors, we can be professionals, we can be family members, we are parents, we are children, but we are using spiritual power as a tool to be able to think right and be right in every scene of life. In simple words, it makes us emotionally independent. Spirituality makes us emotionally independent. Atmanirbhar. आत्मनिर्भर भारत बनाने से पहले आत्मनिर्भर खुद बनना पड़ता है. So atma is soul and nirbhar, self reliant, not reacting to situations and saying, oh, this is life, stress is normal, anger is normal, and then a lot of other things become normal which are uncomfortable. So it's exactly being where we are, but over here, choosing how to be. So that is a little, let's say, an hour daily if we dedicate to meditation and spiritual study. It's like diet and exercise. How we dedicate about 40-45 minutes daily for our physical health, and then we eat 2-3 times in the day. So, roughly about an hour we give to our body daily. Similarly, an hour to the mind, hour for the soul. That's all it needs.
Now, on that count, People find meditation, that word itself is repelling to some people. They find meditation means they have to keep thinking about the candle or by that. But I have known Rajyog. Would you like to talk a little more on Rajyog that Baba has taught us?
Actually, now everyone understands that they want to meditate because they've been hearing and they've seen the benefits of meditation in other people, but we don't have clarity as to how to meditate.
Correct.
Because if we go online and enter meditation, then we get a picture. And the picture is of a person sitting cross legged and closing their eyes. So you feel you have to close your eyes and think nothing. So we try to do that. We try to close our eyes and do nothing inside, which means become thoughtless. And that is not possible. We are not able to do. In fact, the minute we close our eyes and sit, instead of the thoughts stopping, the thoughts increase. And suddenly, all kinds of thoughts are coming, which probably were not even on my mind before I closed my eyes. And I was like, and then I will say, oh, I thought I was going to sit to make my mind peaceful. Here, my mind has started talking more even before. I am better off in activity. And that's why, if you see, people are not able to sit in silence. They will immediately engage themselves with some gadget, pick up the phone, pick up the TV remote, because they say khali kaise baith sakte hain? Because the minute we sit khali, our mind starts talking too much inside. And we don't want to listen to what the mind has to say. So we always engage ourselves with some activity or the other. So meditation, as taught at the Brahma Kumaris, called Raj Yoga meditation, is not about being thoughtless. It's about thinking the right way. So it's a combination of three things: creating a affirmation. So a simple affirmation: I am a peaceful being, or I am a powerful being, or in the current scenario, I am a fearless being, or I am a happy being. So taking one positive affirmation with the understanding that our thoughts manifest, they become a reality. Sankalp se siddhi hoti hai. So to create a positive affirmation of who we are, the true identity, because the first step of Raj Yoga is to know who I am. I am not the role, the responsibility, the relationship, not even this body. This is all mine. And that's why you say, this is my body, my family, my work, my designation, my education, my country, my religion. Everything is mine. But then who is the I who is saying that? So I. And now Atma, that is soul consciousness. We know this, but during the day we never remember that I am a being talking to another being. We talk to each other through roles and position filters, and that is ego consciousness. So, spirituality means shifting from ego consciousness, role consciousness, to soul consciousness. And once you're shifting to soul consciousness, everybody is equal for you. Everyone's equal for you. So if you drive your car into an office, the person standing at the gate who will open the gate for you is going to be the same as the person sitting in the head office right on top in the chairman's cabin. In terms of the soul, the role is different. The role is different. So you will not get out of the car and salute at the person who's standing at the gate, but you will radiate that same quality of respect for both. It's not ye chota hai, ye bada hai. That is getting all over. That's all over. When I go to the chairman's office, I will stand. So the regard for the educational qualification, the age, the relationship, all regards. That is all regard. You stand up, you open the door. That's all physical regard. But respect, respect, equal for all. Equal for all, because I'm a soul talking to another soul. So that's the foundation of Raj Yoga, and connecting to the supreme power, Nirakar Paramatma, very personal relationship. And then you start experiencing that personal relationship, and then using the gyan given by the supreme power in your ways of thinking, speaking, and behaving. So it's a lifestyle based on soul consciousness and connection with the supreme power.
Lovely. That is a great explanation of Rajyog that has been given. How many minutes and what time of the day is the best thing to practice Rajyog? You said 1 hour. For me as a surgeon, surgery is like the best meditation that we have. Believe you me, it is the deepest form of consciousness and meditation, that wherein every organ is occupied tremendously. How how would one reduce the thoughts? As you said so rightly, the moment you close your eyes, suddenly there are oscillation of multiple waves. A lot of thoughts are going to come. So it's fine to let the thoughts be there. And how do we see it as a third person? How do we not react to it and come back? Would you like to say
Uh,
something?
what we would do in the morning, it's not 1 hour of meditation, it's 1 hour of meditation plus spiritual study. The amount we want to meditate is not quantified. So we should never think about meditation in terms of how many minutes. To begin with, it could be 2 minutes, then it could go to 5 minutes, then it's like physical exercise. If I want to bend and touch my feet, then I'm not going to be able to do it on day one. So, day one, I might just reach my knee, and even then, everything might start hurting. But that persistence, that determination, that yes, I will touch my feet, so makes me bend daily. And when I bend daily, one day I will touch my feet. That's for certain. So, similarly, in meditation, it's not about time. Good to do it early in the morning. After that, we can do it any time in the day, but early morning is like because the mind is silent, so there's less activity here. Provided we do it without switching on the phone first thing. So if I first switch on the phone and I just scan 5 minutes through everything, then I'm already into the overactive mode in my mind. So it has to begin without seeing the phone first thing in the morning. Begin with 5 minutes, 7 minutes. Now, like you said, surgery is meditation. That what we are saying is we are fully focused and concentrated on something, right? So there's not a single other thought. That's not a single other thought. So at that time, what you are meditating on is on the surgery. So it's meditation on the surgery, right? So you're concentrated on the surgery, not a single other thought. What we are doing spiritually is we are meditating on the self. We are meditating on God, not a single other thought. So, what that will do is when I prepare myself in the morning of how to be during the day, so if I take one thought, I am a peaceful being. Just take one thought for the day, and then I will introspect for some time different scenes of my day, and this is how I will respond. I am a child of the ocean of peace. God is only a giver. I'm also just going to be a giver. No expectations, no wanting anything from anybody. So, this is a preparation of the mind that is happening in the morning. Sharing your thoughts, everything with God, what's planned for the day, communicating like we would communicate with a friend or with an elder in the family, waiting to get the answer, get the touchings, what I should do, how I should do. So, उसमें तो ना पता ही नहीं चलता कि half an hour कब बीत जाता है 45, but it's not about time. It's not. So, but the meditation is about the self and God. What you're saying is meditation is about the surgery. But when you are concentrating on your surgery, once the surgery is over, then your normal way of thinking will come back again. But when we will meditate on the self, then we will remain in that meditative state while doing anything and everything that we are doing during the day. So, meditation gradually, within a few months, not after many years, within a few months, will not be half an hour, 1 hour, it will be a meditative lifestyle. A meditative lifestyle, which means you are working at a very slow pace and a right way of thinking throughout the day. Then there will be moments where I will react, where I will make a mistake, where my old sanskars will again pop up and I can do something wrong. In the sense, I can get angry or I can get irritated, and then within a few seconds, stop, check, this was my mistake, cut it there, and go back to normal. So that's the journey. So, journey from where we were to a little bit where we've reached, and a long way to go.
So, routine reactions which happen with human beings, anger, frustration, depression, desperation, which will be there, will happen. But what you're saying by doing Rajyog and gradually getting into the whole mold from the beginning of the day, it can help you switch off from those reactions faster, and that your thought process can limit. Is that what I understand? And then we can.
Gradually, your responses will change. They will change. So, first we were reacting to situations, And we needed situations and people to be perfect for our mind to be perfect, because that's a conditioning in which we grow up with. I'm angry because of, I'm hurt because of, I'm irritated because of. We even call the other person irritating, that they are irritating people. Just because we created irritation with their behavior, we say they are the irritating people. And I'm happy because of, so I also will be happy because of something outside. So that meant that everything that's happening in the inner world is controlled by the outer world. This is not Atmanirbhar. That is, this is opposite of Atmanirbhar. This is situation nirbhar. This is people nirbhar. This is physical health nirbhar. If my body is healthy, then I will be happy. So this is completely opposite of the truth. And reality is, I am the creator of my every thought and feeling, independent of the quality of the situation or the other person's behavior. So there can be a crisis outside and we can be calm inside. That is our capacity and potential. So when we understand this, half our reactions will get over only by understanding this, because we just gave ourselves the liberty to react. Liberty कि कुछ नहीं हुआ गुस्सा कर दो, इसने ऐसा किया गुस्सा कर दो. So this was just a reaction, and reactions deplete soul power. Every time I will react a wrong way, it will deplete soul power. So it went into a vicious cycle. So half of it will get over just by an understanding. Then the daily spiritual study. Spiritual study is very, very important, because that's the emotional diet. Emotional diet. If I go to a doctor with a physical ailment, the first thing they will ask me, what's my diet, right? So if they have to make any lifestyle changes. For the mind and the emotions, the first thing is, what is our emotional diet? And emotional diet is what we watch, what we read, what we listen. What we watch, what we read, what we listen is who we become. Our thoughts are created based on what we watch, read, listen. So 30 years back or 25 years back, when I was in college, why I did not find the need for spirituality? Because our emotional diet was very healthy at that time. I did not have a mobile phone. I did not have internet. I did not have computer. I think even the first TV came much later into our house. So where was the content? Where was the emotional diet? So emotional diet was only what parents say, what teachers say, all the good books that we had to read, and one newspaper that came daily. That was source of emotional diet. So when the emotional diet was protected by default, so we were emotionally fine by default. There was no stress. We used to say the word tension like one day before the exam, आज थोड़ा tension हो रहा है. That's it. The rest of the student life was very perfect. But now in the last decade or so, we are flooded with emotional diet, and that's why it's become a crisis suddenly. Stress, anxiety, then depression, anxiety attack. It is main one of the primary reasons is content consumption. Content consumption. If somebody doesn't want to meditate, doesn't want to lead spirituality, don't do, but restrict yourself completely from content that you consume from the world. So if you don't want to take healthy emotional diet, doesn't matter, but then don't consume the junk emotional diet. You will be fine. You'll be fine. But because we consume so much junk content the whole day, which means content which is full of stress, lust, anger, greed, jealousy, complaining, competition, ridiculing, we are flooded with that content. The mind is getting affected. So spiritual study means at least 30 minutes of pure content consumption in the morning. That is मन के लिए खुराक. At least 30 minutes of pure content consumption. That's spiritual study, your scriptures, positive video, self-improvement book. Each one chooses what they want. At the Brahma Kumaris, we go to the center to study. We have a 1 hour spiritual study session, 365 days of the year. From 1936, COVID is the first time the centers are closed, but we are doing it online. But from 1936, when it started, not a single day when the centers are not closed, are not opened for the spiritual study, and we all come there. And today we're all doing it online. And 140 countries, we study the same lesson every day, which means all the centers in 140 will study the same lesson on the same day. So it's a very beautiful collective consciousness system to create a ripple effect in the world.
Brilliant, brilliant explanation. I've had the pleasure of meeting dadis, all of them. and examining them and interacting with them. Childlike, absolutely at 95, 96. Extremely happy. The look in their eyes is so innocent, and full of warmth. They would hold your hand so well. Tell me the whole situation. How the Dadi's given the position? How is the origin, and how did they manage to remain so naive and still so intelligent, getting so much messages? And the whole organization could run because of them. They had the power without doing anything, doing everything.
No, when this it's all started in 1936-37. Brahma Baba, who was then called Dada Lake Raj, is a diamond merchant in Hyderabad, Sindh, and he received visions. He had visions first of this world going through a little chaotic stage. At that time, it was not going through that stage, but now, of course, we're seeing most of those things which he saw in those visions that time. So he saw war, he saw natural calamities, he saw all these things which we are seeing right now. But along with that, he had a vision of a very beautiful world, of a very, very beautiful world which we call Satyug. This is Kalyug, and that is Satyug. So then he received trance messages, and then the Supreme Power started using him as his medium to give the Gyan. So that understanding that there is a paradigm shift that is going to happen in the world. This is the understanding that there's going to be a big shift that's going to happen in the world. It's like now we've reached the end of the day, right? Now it's about 9 o'clock. So we've reached the end of the day. But morning, afternoon, evening, night. We're the same people. We were in the morning, we were in the afternoon, we were in the evening, and we are in the night. In the morning, we were fresh, vibrant, energetic. By the night, we get a little tired, fatigued. We're not very clean like we were in the morning. But this is a cycle of 24 hours that's going on every day. But now we will rest, energize, cleanse, and we will be there in the morning, fresh and energetic again. So, a cycle of 24 hours. Similarly, there's a bigger world cycle Satyug, Treta Yug, Dwapar Yug, Kalyug. So, the morning of the world, the afternoon, the evening, and the night. And now we call it Ghor Kalyug. Ghor Kalyug means Ghor Ratri, pitch dark, pitch dark. But when it is Ghor Ratri, it also means the morning is beginning. The morning is beginning. So even now, if you see around 3, 4 o'clock, for some people it's a good night. For some people it's a good morning at the same time. So in the same house, one person could be saying good night, the other person could be saying good morning. Same thing is happening in the world. For some people, it is good night. Good night means अज्ञान की नींद में सोए हुए हैं, leading our life completely emotionally dependent. And for some people, it's an awakening. It's a good morning. It's a jagran. That it's time to wake up and to change our sanskars. So all this ज्ञान was shared by the निराकार परमात्मा, जिनको हम बहुत प्यार से शिव बाबा कहते हैं. शिव परमात्मा को निराकार, not a human being. And Baba is for father. So God is our father, a relationship. So we don't refer to God as God, Bhagwan, Paramatma, but a very personal relationship. So Baba. So Shiv Baba used the medium of Dada Lekhraji and started giving this gyan. And the dadis were then like Dadi Gulzar would be 8 or 9, Dadi Janki would be 20, and the rest would all be in between that age group of 8 and 20. But most of them were around 12, 15 at that time. And when they came, they had visions, they saw visions of the new world, the Satyug. So everything was, it was intoxicating, basically. It was intoxicating. And then they started this spiritual journey, but of course, they dedicate it all to God. Nothing of the self, nothing at all. As individuals, we could do nothing. But they have experienced that God's power using them as instruments to create self change and thereby becoming instruments for change in many, many other people's lives. But because from that age they are practicing soul consciousness, that's why you find that childlike innocence. You know, the childlike, because a child is soul conscious. See a baby in the arms. Even if you go to the market and you see a baby in the arms of his parents, you don't know the child, but everyone gets pulled towards the child. So, what does the child have that pulls us towards the child? A child is egoless. The child has no barriers of you are so, I am so, this one is so, nothing. A child is egoless. For the child, everyone is the same. And the child doesn't want anything. The child is radiating love and happiness. So that child is attractive. So when we start practicing soul consciousness, we will start going back to becoming that childlike. That's the aim, to become that childlike purity. So that's that childlike purity which we see in the Dadis. And then Shiv Baba kept sisters in the front. This is in 1937. He kept sisters in the front for sharing the Gyan and the meditation, and also for the administration of the organization. Also, and that's why the organization was called Brahma Kumaris. So at that time, kept women in the forefront at a time where women were not even coming out of their houses, leave alone being heads of any organization. And that's how it's been since then. Today, the centers are in 140 countries, and all the centers, sisters are the main instruments of the centers, but brothers and sisters are equal at all the centers. So we're all studying together, we are equal numbers, brothers are doing all the seva, but the sisters are kept in the forefront because Baba said that sisters have the sanskar of palna, palna, the motherly kind of a sanskar. And Baba says for people to go through self change, they need to have that motherly palna. And so Baba kept sisters in the forefront. And also because celibacy was one of the things which we practice. So it was important to have sisters in the front. We're talking of 1937.
A great foresight, way ahead in life to think about stuff. What you said is a very interesting point. Ghor Kalyug, like the yin and the yang. In the middle of the black, there is a small white spot. Do we see a white spot in this Ghor Kalyug? Are we coming to the end of this? Everybody has been cursing. Things are just getting worse over a period of time. So, are you hinting that pretty soon we are ending in from that Ghor Kalyug into that little small bright at the end of the tunnel, the light? Is that what you're hinting at?
Uh, we need to know the equation. संस्कार से संसार बनता है, संस्कार से संस्कृति से संसार. So if this is Kalyug, the world, how did the world get created? It gets created from our sanskars. It cannot, there's nothing else. The world doesn't come out of nowhere. So what is society? It's a reflection of our sanskar. So sanskar se sanskriti, which is our culture, and sanskriti se sansar. So we have created this Kalyug. Now Satyug can't come out of nowhere. It's no magic that is happening. So Satyug is not going to come. हमें सत्युग लाना होगा. We have to create the Satyug by creating Satyugi sanskars. But if you see now, there is a huge shift that is happening. There are so many millions and millions of people who want to practice spirituality, meditation, alternative healing, taking care of the environment. Suddenly, no, there are so many people who are shifting towards a Satyugi way of living, a Sattvic way of living. So there are going to be two things happening simultaneously. This Kalyug is going to become more of Kalyug. It's not yet reached its the peak of Kalyug. So the Kalyug is going to become more of Kalyug. But then the Satyug has also started. So it's like your old house and a new house. The old house has started shaking. It started giving us signs that, okay, this place is not worth living anymore. So we've started building the new house. So now both the houses are together. We're still living in the old house, but we're creating the new house. The old house has started crumbling, but the new house is started construction. So now it's up to each one of us. Am I ready to be a part of creating the Satyug? That has to be a personal question. Satyug is definitely going to come, and it's going to be on this planet. Satyug and Kalyug are not upar or niche. We thought Kalyug was niche, Satyug was upar. Satyug is the morning of the world. And morning means every soul is fully charged. This is like a battery. When it's 100% charged, that is Satyug of the world. And when that battery becomes a little low, that's the Kalyug of the world. So सत्युग में कौन होते हैं? सत्युग में जो होते हैं उनको देवी देवताएं कहते हैं. देवी देवताएं. So देवी देवताएं are human beings. But human beings soul power 100%. 100% charge. So they are divine. They are whom we are worshipping today during Navratri. We are worshipping that divine power, the Shakti. But they are human beings on this planet. The whole society is divine at that time. all souls are 100% charged. Then धीरे 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 100 से 90 से 80 से 50 से 40 से 30 से 20, अभी हम 20 या 10 पर आके पहुंचे होंगे शायद. I don't know. That's just hypothetical.
Brilliant, brilliant. That's true. Having said that, in day-to-day life, there are a lot. Everybody's working here. Everybody has their day-to-day crisis. Even before the Corona crisis came up, people had their own set of problems. Things were getting more materialistic, more struggle to find the same thing. And you said the amount of information highway which is available have confused people. There is so much they hear, they don't know the truth. So, at this point, what would your message to a lot of people who are going through their crisis in their personal life, in family life, professional life? One, they were on the verge of it. Corona kind of tipped it together and made them realize. At this point in time, how would you tell them to behave? How would they open up their heart, mind, get into a spiritual understanding what they are going through?
You know, when we start seeing issues in most of the parts of our life, it's time to pause and ask, where am I going wrong? I'm working so hard. I'm putting in so much effort. Whether it's taking care of my physical health, we've never worked harder than this to take care of our physical health. When we were children, हमें कुछ भी खिला देते थे, कुछ भी पिला देते थे. कहीं भी हम स्टेशन पे खड़े होके पानी पिया है. I remember that, with that nalka on the. I mean, we can't even think of that today. But that's what we had. We had that water. Now, so we are not talking history, no. We are talking our lifetime. We're not even talking history. So we've never ever before taken so much care of our physical health. We've never ever before invested so much in our relationships to do so much for people, so buy so much for people, so work hard so much for people. And of course, we are working so hard in our profession. So what is going wrong? Effort ज़्यादा है, मेहनत ज़्यादा है, commitment, passion, everything ज़्यादा है, then why should there not be a beautiful result? Because we are working hard on every aspect of our life which is outside, which is outside. But we are not taking care of that who's working hard in all these aspects of the life. It's like my phone. So my phone can do almost everything now, right? So we can talk, we can message, we can email, we can shop, we can shoot, we can video record, we can watch movies, we can do everything, and e-commerce, everything with this one box, only if it's charged. Only if it's charged. Now, if this is discharged, I can do nothing. I can do nothing. So if I'm just happy thinking that I can do everything and I'm not ready to connect it to the charger for 30 minutes, thinking मेरा 30 minutes भी waste हो जाएगा, I might as well use it more for something, then this box can do nothing. So same here. I can do everything only if this is charged. If this is charged. Now we thought, but I was never even charging it before, so why now? Now because we are doing a lot of things which are discharging this. We are doing a lot of things which are discharging this. So now we need to charge. So if we energize this on a daily basis, physical health, relationships, professional health, everything will fall into place. Just you will, it's so simple. It is so simple. Everything will fall into place. It's like the seed of the tree. This is the seed. This is the seed. Then is my physical health, the trunk. Then is my life, all my branches, my leaves, my fruits, my relationships. If I don't water the seed daily, but I say, no, I'm watering the leaf, I'm watering the flower, I'm watering the fruit, then I will be busy throughout the day. So, our another epidemic that we have is that we are always busy. We're always busy. टाइम ही नहीं है, टाइम ही नहीं है. कुछ लोग कहते हैं मेरे पास मरने को भी टाइम नहीं है ना. वी डोंट इवन पॉज टू सी व्हाट आवर लाइन इज सेइंग. टाइम ही नहीं है. Why are we so busy? Because we are not watering the seed. We are watering every part of the tree. And इतनी मेहनत करने के बाद भी कभी ये फल नाराज हो जाता है, कभी ये पत्ता सूख जाता है. It's because we are not watering the seed. We are not charging the phone. It takes only 30 minutes. Water the seed, it takes less than 5 minutes. That's all we need to do. It's like two gardens. Suppose you have two gardens. Your front garden is your materialistic world. Materialistic is not wrong. Materialistic is real. Materialistic means everything which is of matter, material. My body is materialistic, it's matter, and of course, everything else. So, my front garden is my materialistic world. My back garden is here, my mind. What I thought was, I will work hard for 24 hours in the front garden, my back garden will automatically flourish. I will automatically be happy. I will automatically be peaceful, contented. So 24 hours I was giving there. So my back garden now has weeds, no flowers are growing over there. I never even went and watered it. So all that we need to do is 1 hour in the back garden, 23 hours in the front garden. Both the gardens will be balanced. Both the gardens. We're not going to the spiritual garden for 20 hours, only 1 hour. 23 hours front garden. But then life is balanced. Then both the gardens will flourish, the inner world and the outer world. We're not taking care here, and then we're saying why things are getting difficult. Dhyan. Meditation means dhyan. Dhyan means to take care. अपना ध्यान रखना मतलब मेडिटेशन करना, to take care. So take care of the mind.
So, just an average amount of meditation right in the morning and recharging your battery. How beautifully put.
Spiritual
Everybody needs
study, spiritual study, very
spiritual
important.
study. Yes,
Emotional diet, very, very important. And restricting content consumption during the day. That's
absolutely.
very important.
So restricting the amount of information data available on the negative direction, violence, desperation, anger, frustration, all that one important part. Second, getting into a spiritual mode by simple understanding the positiveness. Just as your phone, people overcharge, charge their phone full night, but they forget to charge themselves. That's what you're saying. The first thing in the morning is to charge yourself just for that half an hour, 45 minutes. Great, ma'am. There is one more question which is very common is in this present time, there has been domestic violence which has increased between siblings, between husband, wife, between interpersonal relations between parents, children, elderly people. Would you like to tell people what should they be doing at this point in time? Because it's a trying time for everybody.
What is a relationship? Domestic violence, of course, is an extreme thing. Yes, it has increased, but conflict in relationship has increased a lot. Agitated, irritated, shouting, snapping at each other, which means tolerance level goes down, power to adjust, power to accommodate, power to keep quiet if somebody else is reacting, power to forgive and forget. Now, when these powers are reducing, why? Because, like you shared, even before COVID, we were not in the best of emotional health. So, the battery was at 20, let's say, and then came COVID. So, fear and anxiety. Then came lockdown, which means 24 by 7, not stepping out of the house. And then came job and business insecurity. So it was like three situations for a lot of people. And even then, we were not taking care of our mind. So, what happened in relationships was the two people who are in that relationship, whether it's a parent and a child, whether it's a brother and a sister, so the two people who are there, the battery got weaker. The battery got weaker in these 6 months because situation was a question mark, and I was consuming. Our first 1.5 month went on consuming content from the news like what is this COVID. So every time updates, इस शहर में इतना हो गया, इस देश में हो गया, इस hospital में ये हो गया. We didn't even realize what we were doing to our mind. That was their role. They were taking care, they were doing their best to do what they had to do for the situation. We were only consuming. That content, so those batteries got depleted. Now when this relationship with these two batteries will get depleted, obviously they'll snap, obviously they will react, they'll not be able to adjust and accept. And when that gets a little more, then I raise my hand. So first I raise my voice, then I raise my hand, because my hand is not in my control. First my mind goes out of control, then my words go out of control, then my hand goes out of control. Why are there incidents of road rage now? They are normal people, but then suddenly they lose control over themselves, get out and start hitting each other, and sometimes even more than that. So they lose control over themselves. So that's what has happened right now. All that we need to do is from tomorrow morning, let's start taking out our 1 hour. Don't look at your phone for the first hour in the morning. That's the first gift we want to give ourselves. The mind is like a blotting paper, high absorption power in the morning. The morning is for energizing, which means meditation, yoga, pranayam, spiritual study. The phone after that. Not that 5-10 minutes I'll look at everything and then I'll sit to meditate. It doesn't happen because then this blotting paper gets saturated by what's happening in the world. So 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the night, not that we have to meditate and spiritual study for 1 hour, but 1 hour I need to disconnect from media and social media before sleeping, because most of us are not sleeping right. We're sleeping enough, but we're not sleeping right. We don't sleep at the right time. So we thought we can sleep at any time. So sometimes we're sleeping at 11, sometimes 12, 1, 2, 3. Kuch, there's no maryada of sleeping now. A lot of children say, no, I'm better off studying in the night. So we played with the cycle of nature. And we thought it's okay, no? As long as I'm sleeping my 6, 7 hours. That's what is all that repercussion it's taking on our mind and body. So at least an hour before sleeping, we need to disconnect from media and social media. At least 2 hours before sleeping, we need to disconnect from work communication, which means work emails, work messages, except for doctors. But apart from that, everybody needs to disconnect for 2 hours. Only then the mind will start slowing down for good sleep. Otherwise, we go to sleep in a very overactive mind. Overactive mind does not have good sleep, and that's why we are sleep deprived. Why do we need medicines and alcohol to go to sleep? Because we are sleep deprived, because we go to sleep with an overactive mind. See, on a flight next time, people doze off at any time of the day. Any time of the day, we can fall off to sleep. Unless I hold my phone, I'll fall off to sleep. So that's because we're sleep deprived, because we are checking our emails and messages till the last minute when we close our eyes. Then the mind has lots to think, only the body sleeps after that. So these 2 hours are very, very important. The last hour should be very soothing. Be with yourself, be with family, listen to music, read a nice book, or do nothing. It's also good to do nothing. It's very good to do nothing for some time. So last hour, the mind needs to go into the alpha stage before we go to sleep. So these 2 hours are very crucial. During the day, pause every 1 or 2 hours, take a break of at least 1 minute. We meditate for 1 minute after every 1 hour at the Brahma Kumaris. It's called traffic control of the mind. So we have an app, and we'll have a music playing on that app after every 1 hour, and we stop doing whatever we are doing and we take a break of 1 minute. It looks very small, but it has tremendous power to energize for 1 minute after every 1 hour. And a deep effect on the mind is the food we eat. You are what you eat is what we learnt. But
Yes.
जैसा अन्न वैसा मन है. जैसा अन्न वैसा मन है. So most of us have started experimenting with the vegetarian diet. We are eating home cooked food during COVID. So these are the best gifts that we got. Let's continue with this diet, that vegetarian diet and home cooked food. Another very easy way to create a soothing environment at home, the person who is cooking at home. If the person who is cooking for you, they are agitated or they are angry, then after 2 hours you're going to have the rest of the family also agitated and angry. It's very simple. As will be the vibration of the mind, so will be the vibration of the food, so will be the vibration of the minds who will eat that food. So cook prasad for your family, which means in your kitchen have high energy words playing throughout the day. Bhajan, mantra, spiritual songs, whatever you like. Let it play throughout the day in the kitchen. Energize everything that's there. And the person cooking the food has to do it with a very, very peaceful mind. Very, very peaceful mind cooking. And then while eating, no phones or TV while eating. That's very, very important. No phones or TV while eating. And pause and pray before we eat. So just take that 10-second pause, meditate, connect to the higher power, water, and then start eating. So very simple lifestyle habits.
Thank you. That was very interesting. How we can connect every hour and recharge ourselves just for 1 minute every hour. Very simple techniques. Morning half an hour, 45 minutes. Night before switching off, we can what we can do. And there's a question that out of two people, both agitated, but one has to take the brunt of it. How do they take again and again that brunt when the other person becomes more aggressive?
When you start energizing yourself, you won't feel that you're taking the brunt of anything. It's very simple. It's like someone is not well. Look at it physically and then do it on an emotional level. If someone is not well in your family, don't you take care of them? Do you say, why should I keep taking care just because they are not well? Okay, I'm also not well. Now I'll also go and lie down. We don't do that. We are caregivers. We take care of family members even for a year if they are not well. We will cook for them, take them for physiotherapy, take them for exercise, take them to the doctor. It takes a lot of time and energy to take care of someone who's physically not well, but there's love for family, so we do that. Similarly, the other person is emotionally unwell. Nobody shouts and gets agitated and screams if they're emotionally happy. Nobody does it. Nobody is manipulative, controlling, or dominating if they're emotionally happy. Nobody is criticizing and complaining if they're emotionally happy. So, if anyone's behaving that way, or if it is a sanskar of anyone, simple sign they are emotionally unwell. They are not doing it to me. We think they're doing it to me. They're not doing it to me. They are not happy. Have compassion for them. They are not happy. And when we just create this one thought that it's not about me, they are not happy inside, we'll never react. We will never react. I know there are a lot of doctors here. So one day we were doing a program with only nurses. It was Nurses Day. So I just asked them, what's the cause of your stress? And I was expecting night shift and all those kind of things. But you know what they said? They said, वो doctors गुस्सा करते हैं. And I was like, that was a very big surprise for me first time when I heard it. So I said, doctors गुस्सा करते हैं. हाँ, doctors बहुत गुस्सा करते हैं. That is the biggest cause of stress. I said, आपको तो patients इतना गुस्सा करते हैं. Patients can be when they're not well, they can throw away things, they can shout. And then they are so sweet, the sisters, the nurses. They said, नहीं sister, वो तो बीमार है, तो उसका तो हमें कुछ भी बुरा नहीं लगता. I said, तो वो भी बीमार है. He said, कौन बीमार है? I said, the doctor बीमार है ना, जो गुस्सा करता है. So they said, हाँ, वो बीमार है. I said, अच्छा, healthy person थोड़ी गुस्सा करता है. Emotionally तो वो बीमार है. So next day one nurse called me up. She said, this was so simple. I said, what happened? She said, आज उन्होंने फिर से गुस्सा किया. वो तो रोज ही करते हैं. एंड देन आज मैंने एक थॉट क्रिएट की, बेचारे बीमार है, तो मुझे बुरा ही नहीं लगा बिल्कुल भी. वो बीमार है तो मैंने सोचा मैं उनके लिए क्या कर दूं ताकि वो ठीक हो जाए. दिस इज कंपैशन फॉर इमोशनल इलनेस. कंपैशन इज आवर नेचर. It's everyone's nature. Only use it for emotional illness the same like we do for physical illness.
Lovely. Act as a reflector so that you have more compassion. You don't act as a collecting and pot chamber.
Yeah.
Just do that and reflect those bad thoughts out of your mind.
But it'll
Ma'am,
happen only if we energize ourselves on a morning,
energize.
everybody.
Absolutely. Let's come to your book, that very beautiful book on love. Because most people, I believe, are strangers in the mirror. They can't identify themselves in the mirror. They think they know themselves, but either they have less notion about it, or some have a proud, overridden ego about their own self. But most are not at the level head of them. Would you like to talk about that book, which is a beautiful book on love, loving their own
Uh,
self?
the book is called Being Love,
Yes.
and it's about relationships. It starts with the relationship with the self, because unless I have a relationship with myself, which means if I am not happy, I cannot radiate happiness. If I don't respect myself, I cannot radiate respect. If I don't accept myself, I cannot accept other people. So that's the basic spiritual principles. So first thing is relationship with the self, and then of course our other relationships like parenting and everything. So being love means, we thought we needed love. We want love from people. But being love is two meanings. One, I the being, which means I the soul, love is my nature. So when we say Om Shanti, it means being peace. Om is Aham Atma, Shanti, peace. So I am a peaceful being. So I am a loveful being also. Love is our personality. And being love means in your every thought, word, and behavior, you are love. You don't need love. Don't wait, somebody else will come to give love to me. Love is our nature. Let it flow. It only gets blocked. It gets blocked when we create hurt, when we create expectations, when we create attachments, when we create critical and judgmental thoughts. Our original energy of love gets blocked. So that's what the book is about.
I think the most misused, abused, overused word is actually love, Love. Under the guise of that, people use anything they want to, and they express their feeling with respect to that without really understanding what it means. And what you're explaining in this book is trying to tell them that what is the true meaning of loving your own self, your own thought process. It doesn't come out of emotions, attachments to other people. Ma'am, how would you relate greed and ambition in personal life with people, which is exceeding all levels. The field of achievement, and people want to be one step ahead of the other. There's always this regular race. Even on the road, you find there is road rage because the next guy wants to be ahead of you. How would you tell
We
people?
were conditioned to believing that life is a competition. Right from nursery, I think we were taught life is a competition. And that's the biggest myth which spirituality breaks for us, that there is no competition. So we quit the race the first day when we understand it. Because honestly, there is no competition. And if we just sit back one day, we just need to sit but for 5 minutes and look at it, detach and look at it. Where is the competition? With who is the race? I, the soul, am on this journey of life. I have come into this costume in this body with my sanskars, with my set of karma that I did last time, and now I'm creating my destiny with my present karma and my sanskars. So, what I work, what I goals I set, I will achieve them as per my sanskar and my karma, right? So it's my sanskar and my karma in achieving what I have to achieve, whether it is studies for a student and whether it is our career goals or our personal goals. So it's my journey as per my values, my principles, my ethics, my way of living, my prioritizing what is more important for me in my life. It's my journey and it's a beautiful journey. But when I just create this one thought, let's race. It's like if you're from Mumbai, then Mumbai Pune Expressway. Beautiful journey on that expressway. You are with your family in your car, enjoying the drive, eating, listening to music. Suddenly, we create a thought looking at the other car, let's race. Oh, race thodi thi. They were also going to Pune. We were also going to Pune. They are driving at their pace with their family, enjoying same our way. But we created one belief system. Let's race. After that, the whole journey changed. The journey changed, the drive changed, the quality of the drive changed because now there was only one intention. I have to go ahead of that car. Anyhow, I have to go ahead of that car. Now, you don't want to listen to music, you don't want to eat, you don't want to talk to anybody because the focus is there. The focus is not here, the focus is there. Different cars, different capacities, different capacities. Most important, values and principles. If that car breaks the red signal, I will have to break the red signal to go ahead of them. And so many times we started breaking the red signals of our life just to go ahead of other people. Most important, if that car breaks down on the way, will I stop to help them? Will I stop to help them? I will not. I will be happy that their car broke down because now that allows me to be ahead in the race. This is where our natural feelings of care, compassion gets finished because we believe that life is a competition. So take a pause and before Dasera, understand that life is not a competition and quit the race. And when you quit the race, then you are going to perform and achieve even more than what you are achieving right now because you are removing the depleters of comparison, competition, jealousy. These are three very, very huge emotional depleters: jealousy, comparison, and competition. Huge depleters. When we remove these depleters, we will excel beyond our capacity. Beyond our capacity. Cooperation will become natural for us. You will earn so many blessings for people. You will do and perform more than what you had ever thought that you will be able to do. So you will excel beyond your expectations of where you can reach if we quit the race. And we are happy on the journey. We're happy on the journey. Not happy after we reach there, but we're happy on the journey.
So the things for which people are fighting, that is the cause of their problem actually. Their aggressiveness, they wanting to be always first in everything. That is the one which is actually pulling them down. That's the one which is breaking and coming as speed breakers in their own life. And next, I would like to ask you something.
I was once with a corporate house who were first in the country. They were number one in the country. And they said we are stressed. So I said, you're number one in the country now, why do you need to be stressed? Oh, we need to be stressed to remain number one in the country next year. So I just thought, and I put a thought to them, next year what's your target? So it was X. So I said, okay, visualize you achieve 2X, not X, double of what you want to achieve, 2X. Happy? So they said, very, very happy. I said, but you're not number one, you're number two in the country. Happy? They didn't know whether they're supposed to be happy or no. So they were looking at each other. Are we supposed to be happy that we are number two in the country, but we've achieved double of the target we set? They were not sure whether to say happy or no. This is the problem. This is the problem with us. What we achieved more than what we thought we will achieve, but we don't seem to be happy only because somebody else has achieved more than us. Then we really need to pause and check.
Ma'am, the next thing, very important, people that fail to understand the difference between sympathy, empathy in day to day life, which is so very important.
Empathy means to understand what another person is going through. So like even this simple one which you shared before, that if someone is shouting and reacting, how am I supposed to keep quiet? Empathy. Empathy means understand what they are going through. Sympathy means I start feeling that pain, or I start feeling I am better off and they are lesser than me. So that is not an energy vibration, that is a depleter. Sympathy will deplete you because you're not creating a very nice high energy vibration for them. Either you are creating pain. Sometimes we say, I just cannot look at somebody in pain, I get very troubled. But if you get troubled, then you will radiate troubled vibrations to that person. It's like a doctor and a patient. A patient comes to a doctor in so much pain, but a doctor doesn't create pain when the doctor sees the patient. Because if the doctor creates the pain, then the doctor will radiate pain to the patient. Doctor is supposed to radiate healing energy to the patient. So empathy means you're the healer, which means you're radiating healing energy. And sympathy means you also create pain and then you're radiating pain. So let's be empathetic, understanding people. And when we understand, then we know how to respond with them.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's absolutely message before we part off. I would not want to leave you for quite some time. But it's late for you, and it's been very nice of you to go on. What message would you like to give people right now with all kinds of other issues? How to lead their life day to day without renunciating and going ahead with what they are doing, without having their
23 hours 23 hours in the front garden, 1 hour in the back garden. So we are not renunciating the front garden, we're just going for 1 hour in the back garden. And after that 1 hour you start practicing, you will realize that your front garden flourishes by going into the back garden for 1 hour. So just prioritize self care. Self care needs to be a priority. We cannot say, I will take care of myself the day I have time. No, I will take care of myself so that I will have a lot of time. The word busy will finish off from your vocabulary. Dadi Janki, who was the chief of the Brahma Kumaris and who left her body in March at the age of 104, she used to travel in all these countries till the age of 104. No, so that means 104 March she left till 103, which means the year before in December, she was traveling to the US, to the UK, everywhere. She would reach the country and that would be her normal time. She wouldn't be like us going through jet lag and adjusting our sleep cycle. She would be there. And most important, she never used the word busy, and you would never find her busy. She was taking charge of an organization which had 15,000 surrendered sisters and brothers, which had millions of students and so many centers to be taken. Anything, anywhere happens, she's the head of the organization. But she was never busy. And she never allowed us to use the word busy. She said, busy कैसे हो सकते हो? Busy क्या होता है? So she know, ये busy क्या होता है? And she made us change our vocabulary. She said, easy. Easy is how you're going to be while doing a lot of work. तो खाली तो बिल्कुल नहीं बैठना है. Lot of work, but easy here. So easy and busy is an attitude. So we have to shift from busy to easy by practicing self-care. So just practice self-care. Dedicate that 1 hour to yourself. Wherever you stay, whichever part of the country, there's a Brahma Kumari's Rajyoga meditation center within 3 to 4 kilometers. Sisters are always there to teach you meditation. Just call up, fix a time which is convenient to you for a week, an hour daily for a week, and they will teach us the whole spiritual principles and the method of meditation. Learn that, make it a part of your lifestyle, and experiment. Don't need to believe, don't need to adopt, just need to experiment. And when we experiment, we experience, and you will suddenly see all issues getting resolved because the phone has been charged. Everything will start working again fine.
Thank you, ma'am. I mean, I have been close to this organization, but never have I found anybody overwhelmingly telling me to join the organization. It's been more than 20 years. There is so much of freedom everywhere. In fact, our very dear friend Nizar Juma, right from Nairobi, he is a Muslim, but he has started maximum number of Brahma Kumari centers right there in and around South Africa. I think that calls for the amount of knowledge that he has, and his right to practice his own religion too. And yet he is very actively involved in all movements of Dadi. He comes here regularly, looks after people. That itself goes to show that there is no constraint, there is no restraint that come and join us. That this is this religion, Christianity, Hinduism, Judaism, it is an organization by itself. It's a big story that I would like to talk to you about. One of the most organized, the SOPs which are there. There's always a smile. There are people who are working. There's never been chaos. There's a huge place in Abu with so many centers across the world. How do you manage to do that? But I will take that with you next time. I'm running short of time. But thank you very much for being with us this evening and sparing your valuable opinion time. I'm sure it has been an extreme pleasurable moment and a moment to reflect. And as I would say, a turning point in the life of quite a few people. The wisdom reflected at this point from your words, every word that you said has been there, and it can change people's lives. Just a small shift of 1 hour of loving yourself, recharging yourself, not much effort, but for your own self. Cut off from competition, be what you are, and you see how well you go from 0 to 1. And the rest of the world will keep running from 1 to 100. But 0 to 1 is the one which is required to be done. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being with us this evening, and we really appreciate your time and the organization that Brahma Kumari offers.